From what I've read, Malaysia's medical inflation rate is about 15% in 2024. But why Malaysians are actually seeing an insurance premium increase of 70%, and some even complaining that it reaches up to 275%?
First, let me update your viewers. Our actual inflation rate that from our own database of every claim that's been paid in the country for the last 7 years is 16.1% from 2021, 22, and 23.
Wow. So it's not 15, it's higher than that.
It's a little bit higher than that. Now, within those numbers, 60% would have received an increase of less than 20%, and about 9% have received an increase of more than 40%. So those are the ones that are, highlighted the 70%, and the ones that are, 200 plus percent. I'd really need to know the details in order to try to explain why.
For yourself, if you have this magic wand in your hand, just by swinging it, you can make one change, and you think this could possibly make a better healthcare system or deal with this issue right now, what would it be?
Well, there might be a couple of things. I think DRG would be a very favorable development in Malaysia. The other thing is drug price controls. I know it's also very controversial, and the pharmaceutical companies are, obviously dead set against it. They're very powerful, and hospitals would not be in favor of that. But the numbers speak for themselves when they make the margins that they make from pharma, drug price controls, and it's been done in other markets, right?
Oh, yeah.
Many other markets, drug price controls can work. So those are two things that come to my mind.
If anyone out there is struggling right now to deal with their insurance policies, it can be an array of different situations. Just like we talked about just now, whether is it they can't pay and they're admitted in the near future when they're negotiating. What would you say is the first thing that every policyholder should do right now if they are just unsatisfied with what's happening?
Yep.
They just find that it's really difficult. Like, what's the first thing that they should be doing?
They really need to contact their insurer. And insurers have an obligation to reach out to engage with their policyholders who are having difficulty to try to work out solutions that can help that policyholder for whatever that might be. Maybe there is plan changes, maybe there is other short-term solutions, but they really have little choice but to reach out to your insurer. The other thing too, which is really a mindset change, right, is copay. Okay, and it's very controversial. There are some people that think that it's not fair, but if you look at the concept of insurance, insurance is meant to cover things that you cannot afford to pay yourself.
That's
right? If I'm paying a few thousand ringgit a year for a medical plan, it might not be unreasonable for me to expect to pay a $500 deductible. Or it might not be unreasonable for me to expect to pay 5% of the first $10,000 of the bill. Now, just by doing that, it may cause many policyholders to become more conscious consumers. And this goes hand in hand with our intention to publish the cost of common procedures across all private hospitals so that the consuming public can understand the differences in cost between providers,
right,
and they can make better informed decisions.
And that's something that's non-transparent as well at this point, right?
Because
there's no such thing as a centralized data to say that which hospital has the usual charges for such a thing. Every doctor, every clinic, every hospital has its own different set of charges.
Yep.
And that makes it hard to kind of regulate the whole thing as well, or to create this benchmark for consumers to be more informed.
Yeah.
Right?
It does.